So on December 1st, I was writing all this beautiful wisdom. And then all of a sudden, my pen started writing about an earth rift coming. They wrote February 18th, 2026, off the coast of San Francisco. So 2026 is supposed to be just a massive year of shifting. The topography of the earth is going to look different, and our consciousness is going to look different. And they're like, calm down. This is not for fear. This is for great change.
She's back. Today's guest is my good friend, Kristen Hustead, who is here with some guidance for 2026. And I just want to say, if you are tuning in and you have found this video, you are meant to hear this information, because what Kristen is going to be sharing today is a series of channeled messages from a higher being, a being that is coming from the light, from love, and is here to give us messages about what is coming very, very soon. So Kristen, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Laurie. Always fun to catch up with you.
Well, I think that this is a perfect timing because we're just upon the new year, and I'm going to release this in the first week of January of 2026. And you, my friend, have been getting way more activity than normal. And so for those of you who are not familiar with Kristen, she has been on my show more than anybody else. She and I are personal friends. I have witnessed her over and over again give me information, give other people information. She is extremely intuitive and very connected. And she has begun channeling these messages from a being of light named Sophia. And so we had a conversation about this on a show most recently, but we wanted to come back and talk about what is coming in 2026. Because if you're in the spiritual community and you're watching videos, you will see so much information right now about the changes here. These are coming, and I've had a lot of the NDEers over the last year talk about massive changes coming in 2026, in 2027, 2028, and not AI changes, but changes within the shift of the collective, maybe with the DNA upgrades, perhaps with alien contact finally actually happening. So Kristen and I decided that we wanted to come on here and just share what she is hearing about 2026. So Kristen, why don't you just tell people a little bit about how that channeling has been working for you?
Sure. Okay, so Sophia is known as the wisdom of ages. So I had to when this spirit came to me, because I'm intuitive and it's what I do for a living is read energy. It was about February of last year. And I told this on your last show that this beautiful shimmery spirit during my meditation came, and I asked, who is this? And it said Sophia. And I said, who's Sophia? And I heard Holy Spirit. So that's all I knew. And I was like, oh, okay. And so after my meditation, I went to the internet and looked up, what does Sophia mean? And Sophia means the wisdom of ages, the feminine essence of the Holy Spirit, who comes to join the heavens and earth together. So after I knew that, that's when all this channeling, and again, I don't even like the word channeling. It's just this massive downloads of information were coming from this higher wisdom. And so I started to write them out. I was writing them out for my own personal benefit, I guess, and every morning. And it was just this profound wisdom. I didn't know what to do with it until about 4 weeks ago now. I got a kind of knocked over the head, kind of a calling to, hey, this is not just for you. This is for everyone. This is the wisdom of the ages. So with that being said, that started me looking back on all my journals of this profound wisdom. I'm like, holy cow, this is profound. Like I couldn't make this stuff up. It's just profound wisdom about changes that are coming. This age of Aquarius, this enlightened age, this new time, new beginnings, new everything. Let go of the past, let go of the old. It's time to heal and walk into this new age. So as I started to come back onto my YouTube channel and start to give these messages that were coming in profoundly, like every single morning, fresh new messages, I started to get feel for what they wanted us to know. And one is, it is time to heal our past. It is time to walk away from the narrative that we're broken, not enough, not good enough, that we're that less than being versus this incredible enlightened being, which is where this age of Aquarius is going. It's the age of remembering who you are. So, okay, so as I'm getting all these messages, it's about healing the past and walking into your who you truly are. You're a spark of light. You are a spark of source. You are a divine being living on this earth. And so, as these messages were coming through with all these tips on how to navigate your emotions and how to navigate moving past your past and pain, then all of a sudden, this information started coming about 2026. And it was about 2 weeks prior to the beginning of December that I heard a message loud and clear in my meditation that said, get ready, because in 2 weeks, I have something to deliver for you. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they said, for 2 weeks, eat from the earth. They always tell me that, eat from the earth, drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, stay away from media, and stay away from alcohol. So I was like, okay, here it comes again. Because anytime I get like really big downloads, they give me those, those instructions to do. So it was so profound because they said, and take December 3rd and 4th off from work. And I was like, okay. So I thought December 3rd and 4th was going to be big for everyone, which I think it was because it was a full moon. But for me personally, they said, take it off. Well, I love working. And I thought, well, really, do I need to take all of December 3rd and 4th off? So I just kind
Love
of
you.
lighten my load a little bit. I did, though, reach out to my friends. I'm like, hey, guys, watch out. December 3rd and 4th, something big's coming. Well, I didn't know it was for me, but anyways, I love how goofy I can be because it's like people are just this higher wisdom just coming in and talking to you as you and I are talking, Laurie. So, okay, so I did my little spiel. I probably had a little bit of alcohol in those 2 weeks, not much, but I was really trying to very much stay very clean and get my body ready to hear whatever they wanted me to hear. And so on December 1st, I went into meditation, just like anything, grab my pen and paper after I clear myself, and I go into a deep meditative trance, and I allow this wisdom to come. And then I just start writing. I'm basically in the dark. I sit underneath my red light therapy, so I get a little red light. I don't even have my glasses on. I just get pen and paper, and I just am writing whatever they're telling me. And so on December 1st, I was writing all this beautiful wisdom about moving into this age of Aquarius and how things are changing, and we're going to walk into more in a lightened state. And then all of a sudden, my pen started writing about an earth rift coming. And I was like, and it was so profound, Laurie. It was like there will be an earth rift that will come with a swoop, a fell. They said something like a crack, a swoop, and cities will be gone, and waters will arise. Primordial waters will arise from the inner earth and will flood the lands, and cities will be no more. And they even said a date, which I've never gotten a date. Now, I have been hearing about earthquakes for a while now in my meditations, but I never took it any further than that because earthquakes happen all the time. And so I was like, okay, so earthquakes happen all the time. But I've been getting, Laurie, for a long time that this earthquake was going to be different. It was going to be massive, and a lot of lives would be lost. Not to harp on that, but it was profound. But again, I never thought anything about it until this day on December 1st, and they wrote February 18th, 2026, off the coast of California, off the coast of San Francisco, an earth rift is what they're calling it, will come up. And then the waters will actually, from the inner earth, will actually be what floods, most of California. And they've even said like any adjoining rivers that attach to the great oceans will widen. Well, that makes sense, right? If everything from the inner earth is just coming up and flooding. So as I'm writing this, I was like, oh my gosh. And then they always can hear what I'm saying. And they're like, calm down. This is not for fear. This is for great change. So as I continue to write about this great earth rift, what is going to happen after this earth rift is that people are going to come together. It's going to be so massive that all of humanity will forget about their differences and their hate, and they will come together to help rebuild. So now I'm seeing, oh, this bigger picture is that it's going to bring more unity consciousness, more of a oneness, more of a service to all. So as I was listening to this next half of this message, this beautiful message, they also were saying that your galactic brothers and sisters, I mean, they didn't hold anything back, with me. They used to know we are not the only ones in the universe. But they said your galactic brothers and sisters will even be coming to assist. Um, but they said twice now in two separate messages that the star system of Orion will be stabilizing the Earth. They've said in two separate times that angelic tones and frequencies will be a stabilizing the Earth. Whether you hear it or not, it'll be like a stabilizing sound. They said once Mother Earth releases her trauma, because we're all releasing our trauma, is what these messages have been telling us, is that once Mother Earth releases her trauma, because she no longer can house all the dense energy and the trauma that we are putting upon the Earth. And because she is there to stabilize us, she's been absorbing it, and she's like, no more. So as soon as she releases her trauma with this big Earth rift, she will bring forth healing. So in the message the other day, they even likened it to when the Red Seas parted for the people to escape from Egypt. That's how the elements are going to come together to help restore and rebuild. You can kind of see it now, like, oh, Mother Nature will come online more because it's in its true essence. So all of us, through all these messages, as we all walk away from our pain, Mother Earth and us, and we will come into more unity consciousness, more oneness, and we will bring forth our gifts more, is what we keep hearing through these messages from this wisdom named Sophia. And so it's this whole story of just transformation, not only of the earth rift transformation. So Mother Earth is going to go through, and we're going to go through physical transformations, but also our consciousness is going to go through transformation. So 2026 is supposed to be just a massive year of shifting, of evolution, from what Sophia is saying, of our own consciousness and also of our earthly realm. The topography of the earth is going to look different, and our consciousness is going to look different. Our 13th strand DNA, as you said, they keep talking about that, is coming online this December. So we've been getting upgrades all month long. And I don't know if it was on your channel or just my own that I talked about. They had told me prior to December that December is a time where you're supposed to be quiet and assimilate all this energy. It's like you're in the womb. Whether you know it or not, your cells are getting recalibrated. So again, Laurie, it's just been this constant unfolding of this beautiful story, but it's nothing to be scared of, because on a community collective level, all of our souls agreed to this timeline in order to rebuild, in order to walk into unity consciousness, in order to stop the wars and come together. And so the medical system will change. It'll be probably more like, from what I'm hearing from Sophia, more learning how to heal yourself. But if you're not quite there, because they said everyone will awaken in different times, there will be more healing machines and beds coming online. And what I also got was, by the end of 2026, we will be openly working with galactic beings in the government to rebuild our society. And I say one more thing, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, but do you remember during COVID when everyone had to stay in? And do you remember how quickly Mother Earth and the air like felt so clean, and the sounds were so quiet, like all the hush hush of all the city and all the combustion and all the rush and all the pollution still very quickly. I remember it was like beautiful. Well, that's what they're telling me it'll be like after the great earth rift. All the elements, the air, the water, the land, will all replenish quickly, because we are now living in a time of what they keep calling as living energetics. So not everything's going to be like a solid compressed state anymore. We'll be able to work with the elements, work with Mother Nature, work with all of everything that is on the earth will become more malleable, and we will be able to work with it with our consciousness. So they keep talking about quieting your mind and being a Jedi of your mind, and being still and using your breath. And it's a heart-led adventure. You will not be able to transverse these waters of change with your head. It cannot be, Sophia said it cannot happen. It has to be heart. So does your heart want expansion? Does your heart want to be free? Does your heart want to have the gifts of your innate abilities, the gifts of what they keep calling the spirit, the keys to the kingdom, which is who we are? So, with that being said, I kind of dumped a lot on you, but that's what has been coming out like nobody's business. And I'm like journaling a book, like they're having me write a book and they're having me write a quick guide. And my life in a good way has been flipped upside down, but I have had to assimilate to this massive knowledge coming in. And I've been knocked off my socks a few times. And even coming on with you, you know, how I said, I don't think I'm ready. And then I said, no, I think I am, because this message is coming forth. And I'm thankful that I am a messenger. That's basically how I see it. So,
Well, a few things. So when you were talking and you said that Orion is lining up to the earth, and you talked about the frequencies of the angels being released and changing the sound frequencies on the earth. When you said each one of those things, I had a strange sensation, like almost like when you get goosebumps, but it was in my head, like my head area, and then it went away. And then when you brought up the angelic tones, it did it again. And the reason I share those things with people is because you cannot hide your body's responses to information, especially to truth. And when I mention that, there are people who are going to be watching who are like, oh yeah, that happened to me too. And so I always say that my signs and synchronicities confirm your signs and synchronicities, etc. So I wanted to say that about what you said. The other thing that I want to talk about for Kristen specifically is that I remember when you called me right after you got that first message. And we were both freaked out a little bit because, like, what does this mean? Neither one of us want to be in fear. We always believe that everything is unfolding perfectly, that everything is happening for us and not to us. But it did take me to a similar place that it took me at the beginning of the year after I came back from my Egypt trip, and I met John Peterson on my Egypt trip. He is a very well-known futurist, and he came on and talked on my show. And he talked also about things that were going to change and how everything was going to shift to community, and that now is the time to build community. And he wasn't trying to sell fear. He was trying to tell people to be prepared, have ample supplies of clean water, of food to get you by if you had to be in a situation for 2 weeks where you didn't have electricity or you didn't have access to water. And again, it was all about community, because the more we are connected to the people around us where we live, the more that we are not alone and we are not isolated. We can lean on others. And so you and I have had multiple conversations, but I want you to share also that this was not a singular message. A lot of times when you get messages, you're just getting one download and you're channeling it and you're writing it down. This happened to you day after day after day, and you didn't get a date at first. You got a date later, and then the date was given over and over again. And I'd love for you to talk about the significance of that part of this message for you.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, Laurie, because as I've been looking back on the journals I've been taking, they had been building me up to this time. Like, hey, things are going to shift. Hey, the earth is going to go through a lot of changes. Hey, we're going to more heart-centered. Hey, you might be housing people in safe houses, like after the earth cracks. Like, I was hearing this stuff, but it really wasn't coming like, boom, this is a message for humanity now, but it's coming. This is a message for humanity now. And so with that being said, the the first day that I excuse me, went in, it was just a lot of great stuff, like I had said, and then the earth rift. Okay, the next day, a lot of great stuff, then the earth rift with a date. And the next day, now, right away, the earth rift with the date. And then after that, that earth rift must have come up every time. And we're at December, at the end of December, almost every day, because that's going to be the catalyst. So I've even asked, I was telling you this prior to coming on, I even asked, like, hey, am I hearing just a metaphor? Am I hearing just a possibility? Am I hearing just, hey, it could happen sometime? but they keep saying, trust us, trust us. So I got to let go of the timing. I'm hearing a date. I'm pretty good at hearing things correctly, but um, with that being said, I don't know what the angelic realm has in store for us. I am just a delivery system. So with that being said, it has come through every single day. And the message is around that, because that is going to be both the catalyst physically, which pulls us together. Also, you want to make sure that you are prepared. And what they keep saying is that every person will know in their heart what to do. So we were talking prior to coming on, and you're like, what are you doing to prepare? And I'm like, really felt like totally like, oh my gosh, I got to prepare. But we live on a farm and we have a well. And one thing I do know that we have is a generator, because we have animals to feed and we need water. So we have a generator. I do know I want to get gas for the generator. We have a filtration system for our water, and then we have food and things like that available in the community, because we live in a pecan grove and stuff. So yeah, I don't feel like a total, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, but some people might be feeling that way if they're more in the infected areas. And then also what I've been hearing a lot is uh safe house. People are going to need places to live. And like I said, back in like July or something, I told my husband, like, I think we're going to be housing people. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, I don't know. I keep hearing that. So that's something that I do feel that we'll be doing.
Well, I want to add on to that also, because I was really shaken by my message from John Peterson
Yeah.
that I interviewed. I think I interviewed him in April of 2025, and it's December now of 2025. And
Right.
I talked to several spiritual friends about that. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Should I buy seeds? I live in Arizona. Where am I going to plant them? Like, what do I need to have? Do I need to have some type of a filtration system for my pool so I can get water that way? Like, there were different things. And I was talking to one of my highest evolved spiritual friends. He's been on the show a couple of times with his near-death experience conversations. And as I was asking about this, a Jeep passed me on the highway with a license plate that said "not now." And I took a picture of it, and I kind of took a deep breath, and I was like, I don't have to worry about this right now.
No.
But since I would say probably October, I have felt a draw to store some things. I am not a things person. I am more of like, I have a few things in my pantry. I have things to cook and bake with, but I am not a big stock up on things. My parents are. They've got freezers of meat and extra refrigerators and pantry just loaded with stuff. And I don't live that way because it's just me by myself. But I felt very strongly drawn to getting extra dog food for my dog, extra canned food for my dog, to buy a filtration system that if I needed to filtrate chlorine out of my pool water, and to have a few things on hand in the event that something happens. And when you told me this about California, I became a little bit concerned about it because my daughter lives in San Diego. And I started researching with AI. I was like, pretend that you are a seismic expert and look at the fault lines and tell me how this could affect, who this could affect if a massive earthquake hit the San Francisco area. And it talked about the way that the fault lines ran and all this other stuff. And I thought, okay, well, good. Southern California won't be hit. They'll feel a little bit of it, but they won't be hit. But this doesn't sound like a normal event. This sounds like something different. And the thing that I want to say is that having interviewed, I don't even know how many people now, hundreds of people who have had these near-death experiences and spiritually transformative experiences, having also been on the other side, having watched, read, and listened to thousands of these NDEs, there is one conclusion that I feel so strongly about, and that is that nobody dies before their time. If it's not somebody's time, they have a near-death experience and they come back. People have come back from suicide attempts. People have come back from car accidents, from stage 4 cancer. If it's not your time, you do not go. And I do also believe, from talking to so many people who have experienced these phenomenon on the other side where they were shown they had exit points. And sometimes they were given a choice. Do you want to take this exit point now, or do you want to continue on? I believe on a soul level, we plan all of those things. And we also
Yes.
are aware that we're coming into a certain thing, we're coming into a certain area. We've chosen all of that, much like when people were caught up in the 9/11 tragedy that
Yeah.
happened. There were many people who had prophetic dreams in advance of that. They did or didn't do things, like they had an extra precaution with them. They had something happen so that they couldn't get to work that day, a flat tire, their kid was sick and they had to stay home. Like, it was not their time, yet others knew this was coming and wrote about it before it happened and were actually taken.
Right.
So I'd love for you to speak about that a little bit, because again, we're not trying to perpetuate any kind of fear here at all.
Well, gosh, there's so many. I should have been writing down my thoughts too as you're talking, but I will start with I think we both don't like we're just more positive. Like we always want just the positive. We want, we want to know that we can move forward, that you get to choose your destiny by your thoughts and by your vibration, of being a more uplifted and be more of a creative being. And so that's why this surprised me when I got a date, because I don't go there. I just don't go to the negative at all. And I don't even want to say this is negative, because as a collective, we decided on this. So that's what I had to kind of first come to agreement with, was that, hey, this is a collective agreement, which means all of our souls on a higher level decided that this time and day, or this time of our earthly life, will be about moving into the age of Aquarius, which means moving into more unity consciousness and more of your spiritual gifts and more of a spiritual enlightenment time. Okay, so with that being said, as far as the fear-based, they keep saying over and over and over, like every single message Sophia says, this is not your true home. This is not your true home. This is a school. This is a learning place. And I feel so much like Dolores Cannon, right? Remember, I just love Dolores Cannon and her work. But as through my work and even through my book that I wrote, like they were constantly telling me, like, hey, this is a school. You're here to learn. Your true home is up in the heavens, up in the upper room. But this time that we're in is to learn. So you get to come back as many times as you want to learn as much as you want. So they keep saying death is an illusion. And I agree with you that they've also said you get to choose your time of departure. So in that, they've also been saying that you're going to start to be able to live longer with this change of evolution, and you'll actually get to, choose the day you die and things like that. So there's a lot coming. But I agree. They keep saying that death is an illusion. This is a school, and that you don't go until you really want to. So now we take away that fear. And now we go, okay, so we're just here at school on this earthly realm. They also talked about, Laurie, we're multi-dimensional beings. So this isn't the only place that we're having an experience. And so then that even goes even more like, wow, that's quantum physics, right? And I'm like, okay, so now we're here to learn these lessons in this school. Then they've even gone so far to say this time is going to be so different that all of the earthly experiences that you have had will filtrate through you into this time. So you pull all the knowledge, because this is a place of learning. Wherever you have learned throughout your existence as a soul, as an infinite spirit, you're now pulling in, excuse me, all that information, all that knowing into your being now, to use you to become what they keep saying, stronger than the artificial intelligence. You are going to be knowing more. And all I can say is, in the past year, and especially this past month, with all this knowledge comes in, it's been coming in my head. My third eye has just felt huge. Like my intuition, my knowing is like on board. Like I can read more so people's thoughts and more so their emotions. Now, it's not my business, so I don't do it all the time unless I'm working with someone, but I could, like, I can tap into more of infinite knowledge. And Laurie, as I am writing things down, they'll drop stuff like, this time it's going to be different than last time, this evolutionary shift. And I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, what's last time? And they said, Atlantis. I'm like, I've never studied Atlantis. I had to go look up what exactly Atlantis was. So it's like they're putting all this information into the here and now so that we can know this is going to be the most grand, amazing time. We just have to take our times walking into it. And they said it could take a long time. So, answering your question, what I keep hearing from this wisdom of ages is that we just got to slow down and you got to first, number one, heal your past. Take the time to heal your past, say your forgiveness, say your sorries to yourself and others. Let go of the judgment on yourself and others. That will not sustain itself in this new era. So, number one is to heal the past. Number two, Laurie, is to be in love and gratitude. For love and gratitude are literally transformers, they soften anything. So, your bills are high or you lost your job, they say thank it. Like literally, you got to be in gratitude. Something happens, thank it. You have someone who comes against you negatively, thank them. Everything is about love and gratitude, not to be like a pushover, but more soften the energy, because then they keep talking about these living energetics that are here now will soften our reality and help us to find our solutions quicker and faster. So we'll still be upon this earth with our challenges and stuff, but if you back away and you go with the flow of life and you don't go in resistance and you go with accepting all that is in front of you with gratitude and love, that is when you will transform quicker and you will be on an accelerated path to enlightenment because you are going with this school, this wisdom that is here to teach you. So it's been freaking fabulous to learn, but it's been a lot. Like it's been like, oh my gosh, I've been joking with my clients for a long time. I'm like, well, we're not in Kansas anymore, because as each person comes in, because of what I do for a living, this energy comes in and they awaken them more, and then they come into this knowledge, and I'm like, and so it's like a light goes on with them, and they're like, why am I also knowing all this stuff? I go, because we're coming to the age of enlightenment. So with all that said, I am not fearful. I feel compassionate about those who have chosen to be a part of the departure. And they actually said that too is a collective agreement. So they said, Laurie, in January, this knowledge, this awakening, this new information that's in the cells of our body, whether people know it or not, are going to arise within them a knowing like, hey, life as I knew it is not the same. And they're going to be like either freaked out by that, or they're going to be accepting of that. And so those who can't release all this pain, it's okay. Sophia keeps saying it's okay. Everything's perfect because this is not your true home. They will choose to depart. And then those who are left, whether they're awakened or not, at a soul's level, they decided to go on with this journey of awakening. And it will be challenging for a lot. And that's okay. They keep saying there's time is of no essence, but you'll see others that have awakened and it will help you to awaken. They keep saying it's like a big puzzle piece. As one person comes back into their authentic self, then that shows another person, hey, I can do that. And another person. And then it becomes this, I think of it like an organism self-healing. Everyone will start to come back faster and faster because you're coming into oneness of who you truly are. And that is when they told me after the great earth rift that a light will shine so bright that it will awaken even more to this knowledge. Because when we all join, our lights will be so grand that it will even give those who just still can't wrap their heads around this even more of a like a carrot, like a platform. But we still have free choice, is what they keep saying. And you get to do you. You can say this is hogwash. You can go on with your own life. That's perfect. You can do whatever you want. They say nothing is right or wrong, because whatever path you choose, they keep saying it's your journey of learning. Done. Because all roads lead back to one. And they always say, how could it not? For we are all one. So this wisdom is profound. It's non-judgmental. It's easy. It's gracious. It's grace-filled. It's non-fear based. And it's about us moving into where we truly all want to go, whether you know it or not, like on a conscious level. We're all done with the struggle, lack of, and not enough, and the fear-based reality. So with that being said, that was, a lot of other of the messages came through with this wisdom.
Wow, beautiful, Kristen. So
I
you
know,
mentioned
right?
something that I think I want you to elaborate on. You said there are living energetics who are here. What do you mean by living energetics?
Okay, so back in about October, or no, even back last summer, I looked at my downloads or channelings or whatever. I didn't know at the time, but my journals, and they were talking about how there's more energy being infused on the land through the sun, which makes sense now that we know these geophysicists are talking about all this sun activity. So I kept, for actually the last couple of years, I'm like, the sun is literally talking to me, like giving me information is just what I was getting. And now I'm hearing that the sun is a delivery system for this higher wisdom. So then I'm asking, what is this higher wisdom? Well, more love and more gratitude, right? Because love is the essence of the universe, is the essence of our creator. So this love is coming in and it's pushing out our old narrative, because that's what it's doing. It's infusing in us and it's pushing out the old. So we're not only healing ourselves, but the air and the elements and the trees and the water is being infused. So they're coming up on more online. So now nature is here to heal. When you breathe in, you're breathing in like this living energetics that's here to heal. Like everything is alive now. The trees, Mother Nature, the air, the land, the water. So that's what they keep saying. And that's why our number one way to ground as we move forward is to put our feet on the earth, give gratitude and thanks for all that our creator has given us, and the trees, and everyone will help us because they're all made from source, right? They're all made from spirit. How could they not be? Because we're all one. So it's this whole dance of oneness. And so the living energetics means that when we thought something was so compressed, a situation, a belief, a mountain, a whatever we have thought is just so compressed, a concrete building is actually made of energy. And energy, what they've been telling me, is infinite in nature. Energy has infinite possibilities. We, as creative beings, compress it with our thoughts and our beliefs, because that is what we're here to do, create our reality with consciousness. So now you go, oh my gosh, we have all decided, hey, this is a building, this is that, that's a mountain, that's a tree. We all decided what we wanted to call this reality. Individually, we get to decide how our reality is by our beliefs and what we align to. Because when we, as creative beings, attach our energy and our intention to something, it forms into matter. Collectively and individually is what they keep telling us. So this is all like what, right? Like quantum physics. This is like big stuff. So as we move into this age of Aquarius, as this energy is coming in and infusing light codes, is what I keep hearing, into everything around us, including ourselves, including our cells, including our DNA, everything is getting upgraded. And now the way we're going to move forward, once we can wrap our head around it, because our head and our beliefs will keep us stuck. And I don't even like the word stuck because it's a learning path. But our head has to be quieted in order for our heart to lead the way, in order for us to live in this fairy tale, is what they keep calling it. Like eventually you'll be feeling like you're living in a fairy tale, because the energetics will morph with you. You'll be able to manifest quicker, especially if it's for the highest good. So again, it has this quantum physics to it. It has energy. Everything's energy. Everything's energy. If you can, they keep talking, if you can step away from this happened to me, or this I'm a victim to this, and I'm not making fun of anyone, because I get that way. Oh, they don't like me, or this. If we just look at everything as energy, and then if we look at it like we are creating our own reality inside our, with our beliefs, is reflected to us on the outside. As above, so below, as within, so without. So everything is a cosmic dance of oneness, that our creator is saying, hey, let's go in a different route now. Let's start to create truly the desires of our heart. So this next era is all about heart energy. And I do believe, back when I was watching YouTube, I've been off of it for a while. Pam Gregory, the astrologer, has been talking for years about how the planetary systems are moving into more heart-based. You cannot comprehend this with your head. Our head will go, huh? What? Wait, what? Fairy tale? What? Living energetics? What? But our heart says, yeah, I want to be expansive and I want to be free. And the other person I would love for you to talk about a little bit, if you want to, is that geophysicist, right? Stefan Burns, right? So he's been talking about how the sun just keeps blasting us with this light plasma. And about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I was working on a client and I got this vision, or two or three people, of this plasma. And I was like, there's plasma going into you, is the message I got. And I go, I can't figure out what this plasma is. And my client says, well, plasma is from the sun. And I'm like, well, of course now. So it all came to me realizing that the light is being infused in us. That's why they keep saying, try not to wear sunscreen or wear your contacts or glasses or sunglasses in the morning and at night, because we're getting information like a plant would be getting information into our cells. Right?
Kristen, I'm laughing. Okay,
What?
this is the weirdest thing. I've not heard anybody say that about the sunscreen thing. Like, I live in Arizona and I'm in
Mhm.
the sun and I'm an everyday hiker. So I'm always outside and I hike a lot of times really early in the morning. Well, for years, like I've been here 10 years. I think my anniversary is today. 10 years I've been here. And every single morning I would get up and the very first thing I would do was slather myself with sunscreen. I don't know what happened, but my son and his wife are super health conscious about what they eat, about what they consume, like all of this. And there was some information about chemicals in the type of sunscreen that I was using, because it wasn't zinc based, that were not good. And I don't know why I felt like doing this, but I stopped using sunscreen about 6 months ago. I have no idea why. In
Right?
my entire life, I have used sunscreen from the time I understood sunscreen was good for you until 6 months ago. And I have not started using it again. And I had no idea why. I've even had thoughts about it. Like, why did I stop wearing sunscreen? Like, I'm in my 50s. What a stupid thing to do. My skin's going to get all wrinkled. But
No.
oh, this is crazy.
Right? And then also, the science was starting to come and say, hey, sunglasses aren't good for you because you're not getting the information into your eyes. And then I was at a conference last January, and they were talking, and a hypnotherapist got up. And she's like, that one that was trained by Dolores Cannon. Anyways, she was saying what her clients have been saying over and over again under hypnosis is that we need to get the light in our eyes. And even when you wear contacts, we're not getting into our cellular structure. So I have my contacts in right now just so I don't have to wear my glasses, but I don't wear them in the morning, and then I take them off when I don't need them anymore, and I get that afternoon sun in my eyes. So yeah, so it's almost like we're all intuitively, plus science is saying now sunscreen's not good for you and don't wear glasses. And even the doctors are saying in the ICU, they're starting to put their patients closer to the windows for those who need to get out of the ICU faster. So it's like we're all intuitively knowing something, but it's coming in different ways. And oh, can I say one more thing? They said that this information that I'm giving today, others are giving, others are getting downloads, but it's going to come in different delivery packages. Like, I'll say it this way and that'll resonate with some people, and someone will say it this way, or someone will write a book like this, and it will all be together but in different frequencies so that we hear it. And it's not just coming from one source anymore. It's literally a community. This is what we all decided to do. So I thought that was fascinating too. So there's a lot of synchronicities going on.
That's so cool.
I know.
Well, one of the things, let's talk about the geophysicist again. What was his
Yeah.
name?
Stefan Burns.
Okay,
And
I'm
yeah,
gonna link him below because I had never heard of him before.
yeah,
And you sent me a video and I watched it, and it was confirmation about what you were talking about the seismic activity. There have been lots of small earthquakes in the San Francisco area. There were a whole bunch of them, and they started, I think, in October, and they've been going until now. And the people who are studying this are saying that something is going to happen in the next couple of weeks to couple of months. So it matches the timeline.
yeah.
I've also watched, because I am obsessed with Aurora Borealis, Northern Lights. I'm actually taking a really cool trip to go see them in Sweden and Norway and Finland in March. And I've been really watching all of his videos about the sun and the plasma and the energy and how strong
Mhm.
it is and what it
Mhm.
does. But it absolutely infuses and changes us. And so it makes sense because all of these things wind up being confirmations, like you said, delivered in different energy packets.
Yes, yeah. And it's interesting because as I put on my YouTube channel, I put up the Earth Rift and things like that. And I was very sober about it. Obviously, it can be a sensitive subject, right? Um, where was I going to go with that? Um, I was curious about the whole what's it called, the San Francisco Bay Area and all that stuff. So I reached out to Stephen Burns. I didn't know how to get in touch with him, but I put like on a comment under one of his videos, like I say, hey, are you seeing anything with February 18th, 2026? Because I'm getting some information about that day. I didn't hear back from him. I even emailed him, but I don't even think he gets so many views. Then I even went on Pam Gregory's website, excuse me, Pam Gregory's site, and just asked her, because she's the astrologer. And I said, hey, are you seeing any planetary alignments at this time? And I didn't hear back from her. I even went on Ann Tucker, who is that other woman who is giving prophetic messages, that said sometimes in 2026, she is getting this earth rift. And I didn't hear back from her. So I reached out to a bunch of people. I didn't hear back from them. I understand they have large audiences, but I was curious about the seismic activity. And that's when a friend of mine sent me that one that Stefan Burns said about San Francisco. And then I even reached out to a friend who lives in Malibu, she's very prophetic in her own ways. And she says this actually lines up with a lot of prophecies she's been following. So again, I'm not a thrill seeker like this. Like, I love just healing. Like, let's heal, let's move forward, let's be the best we can. But this is coming through, like you said, in so many different ways. Yeah, so it's been profound, and I am just watching it like a movie, and not being attached to the outcome, because it is not for me to decide. I'm a delivery system. I think I told you when you came up the other day for a treatment, I said, I feel like I'm a translator. Like, if you were to go to China, you would get a great translator so that you could make your way through the land. I feel like because of the work I do, I can deliver. And we have worked together so often, and even in your own personal life, I've come up with things out of the blue that you needed confirmation on, and I didn't even know that it was coming through to me, and it was spot on. So that's where I feel like, hey, at some point I got to just say, I trust the bigger picture. I'm going to let go of the results. I'm going to allow for this divine intervention, this age of Aquarius to unfold when it will unfold, and I'm going to release attachment.
Well, it's so funny because I wouldn't have had anybody on my show this many times if I didn't believe in them. Like, I know you personally. We have spent a lot of time together, hiking together, talking, having these very deep spiritual conversations. Like, we've been on this path together. We've been friends for 6 years, I think now. It's been a while. And I believe in you. I've watched things come true over and over again, which is why I wanted you to come back on. And we were saying when we were talking before doing this video that you will be the happiest person if this does not happen on the 18th of February and nothing happens, because it's not like this is something that you're wishing, but you are the delivery system. They have asked you to deliver this. And so we decided that we would just share this information. And again, like I said at the beginning of this video, the people who need to hear are here. This is how this works. I've been on the other side enough times to understand that. And the last time I was on the other side was on the winter solstice of 2025. It was my strongest experience to date. And I will just say that the love that we can't even conceive of in this human brain. It's not like the worst thing that can happen to us is dying. I think the part that is hard for everybody isn't necessarily you leaving, the ones that are watching this. It's losing other people around you. That's the part that I think would be difficult for everybody. So let's end with some positive messages for 2026. They've shared all kinds of things with you, Kristen. Like, what are you excited about that you have heard them say to you in these downloads about 2026?
Well, and actually they keep saying now. And so what I'm realizing with the angelic realm is there's no time is of no essence. So they'll say now, now, today, today. But the things that are so exciting are the innate abilities that are going to come on, that are online. They say they are online now. We need to be ready for them. So, which is, and I have to say, they say it over and over again, you will not get your innate abilities, which will be so incredibly powerful that you are going to be shocked. I mean, it will be so powerful. They will only be used for the greater good of all. And they will not come online if you still house judgment or hate or ill will against. They will not. And even if they do come online, and then you start to judge, they have to go off. They will immediately go off because that will cause destruction because we will be so much in our power state. So I'm really excited about that because of what I do for a living and because I have been able to see miracles happen, right? I've been able to see people with cancer get healed, people with brain injuries get healed, people who have blocked walk. Like I have seen miracles because this energy is so real, and being able to remote view and read energy and be able to work from afar and distance and know exactly to a T what is someone is going through. That's just a smidgen of these gifts that we have. And so and telepathic communication, all of this, remote viewing, teleportation, like this sounds like a freaking fairy tale. Like all of that will come online and we will have instant manifestation because we will be joined. The heavens and the earth, they say, will be joined as one. And it has never, ever been done before. This is a grand experiment. So I'm super excited about that because how fun will that be, right? And how fun will it be to be in a place of pure love where you're only thinking of the best for everyone? And how fun will it be to be able to heal spontaneously and help others heal? So that's what I'm looking forward to. The other is this community feeling, because it will no longer be like I have lack of or not enough. It will be so much support, like you said at the beginning, this beautiful unity of support. You will not feel alone. There won't be the lonely widow. There won't be the divorced person living by themselves or the person who had a deceased partner. We will be so much community that there'll be so much love is another thing that they're saying. And then they say all beings, not only galactic, but inner earth beings, and also all the elements of the earth. Again, think of this organism coming together to work in harmony. So you're not in Kansas anymore. We are not the only ones in the universe. There is so much living energetics out there, so many sentient beings. We just don't have the consciousness to see it because we've been so limited. So as we expand, that awareness will come like, okay, so I know the awareness, I know that they're there. And then as we can assimilate that, then we'll start to see them in person or however that will look. I don't know, but that's what they'll say by the end of 2026. We will be working openly with them, but some people are already working with them, governments and things like that secretively. So again, this is just the information I'm getting. Well, to me, that sounds way better than the 9 to 5 struggle, lack of, not enough. You're by yourself because you got divorced or you lost your loved one or you don't get a loved one in this life. Like that stuff is gone. Fear is gone, they say, and it's only gone as you awaken. So it'll be an individual choice. And they also say this evolutionary shift will take hundreds of years to complete. And it's one generation will get stronger than the next. But those who are ready can walk into it now. And so then I'm like, well, what will that look like to be someone who has these abilities and others won't? Well, you'll be that puzzle piece to give another person the strength. And then they said in yesterday's message, what I thought this was so fascinating, they're covering all bases. They said, as we progress forward and you think you've got it, like, ooh, I heard it. I heard right. I'm the chosen. You are not the chosen one. You are not, even though you are awake in the fact that your consciousness has been expanded, but no path is better than another. And we better get that right because that will be like shut down city. Like as soon as you start thinking that, you'll go bonk. Your frequency will come down because you're not honoring someone's path. So it's so fascinating, Laurie, because it's about total non-judgment and love. And so grace and love and non-judgment and accepting what is the path that we shall be taking. And the energetics will help soften and move us forward. So it does sound kind of fairy tale-ish, don't you think? I mean, a little bit like.
A little bit, except I'm going to add on to something that you said. You said that these abilities and gifts are already here, they're already online. And you also talked about that puzzle piece fitting in. And if you are not doing it, but you see somebody who has that puzzle piece that fits in, that helps you to do it. So I'm going to talk about telepathy for a second, because it's one of my favorite subjects of 2025.
Yes.
I've talked about it lots of times on this show. And in case people are not aware, I have been calling telepathy the 4-minute mile of consciousness. And the reason I say that is because there are a group of autistic, nonverbal kids and early adults who have proven that they are communicating telepathically, not just with their mothers and their fathers and their siblings and the friends around them, but they are going to this place that they call the hill, where thousands of these autistic nonverbal kids are meeting in a place that doesn't really exist in our dimension, but they're going there and they're communicating without language, which means somebody who is in Switzerland speaking that language could understand somebody in the United States who is speaking English. And they've been connecting and communicating. And because these autistic kids, language is so difficult for them that they don't lie. And also, they are much more pure in spirit. They're not attached to the body the way that most of us are, that it is now believed that they are not less than, like everybody's been thinking. They're actually an upgraded version, less attached to the body, which allowed them to have these telepathic abilities. And so now that it's out there, all kinds of information have been coming in that people who are regular, not autistic, and are verbal are having telepathic communications with people, for example, parents that have dementia, or somebody who has nonverbal ability because they're paralyzed. They've been communicating telepathically. So it's not just the autistic kids who are doing this. So think about that. Imagine if somebody walking down the street could read your thoughts. Would you then try to become less judgmental, more loving in your thoughts? Would you want people to hear the worst of what you're thinking about others, about yourselves? We are going to be forced to clean up how we think. It's not going to be a choice anymore, because it's going to be exposed by people who have the ability to communicate telepathically. So this is real. This is coming. It's not a fairy tale. We're just on such the precipice, the beginning. We're just kind of standing at the top looking down, and we don't even understand, I think, what the possibilities are and how beautiful and magnificent this is.
Yeah, no, I agree. Everything you said. And I just uploaded on my channel a video where Sophia talked about becoming a Jedi of your mind. And that's going to be a very important. And I, and obviously for the work I do, I can read minds and I can read energy. And our energy is so real. It radiates out not only our thoughts, Laurie, but also our body, and which is our subconscious mind, which is Dr. Candace Pert, right? She says our body is our subconscious mind. So not only is our body emanating our wounds and our hurts and our less than and not enough, our thoughts are constantly reinforcing that and judging others. So here, now that's going to be broadcast to everyone, and it will not sustain in the new era. And you're right. We have to become a Jedi of our minds. And so what I'll find myself doing is if I feel like I'm about to judge someone, or even, well, what was it the other day? I felt like I was hurt by someone, and instead of judging them, I said to myself, love, 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 love. And I just made myself send love to them, because I don't want to send them that, because I know how real energy is, because I do it for a living. But now it's going to be everybody. I mean, all of us, and it's going to be on super mode. Like you said, these telepathic communications of these autistic kids is just going to be so uh, transformative.
Mhm.
We are not going to know what Sophia keeps saying is we're not going to even recognize reality in the next 2 years. So get ready. They keep saying, get ready, ground yourself, be sure in who you are, do your work, release your judgments, say your sorries, like be open to change. That's the one thing they keep saying. Just be open to change. How good can it get? They keep saying, ask open-ended questions and they will guide us because we have never been here, right, Laurie? We've never been here, but this is real. And so this is where we're all going to go eventually, right? Personally, I don't want to take hundreds of years. Oh,
Yeah.
they also said we get to choose our age. I mean, yeah, like I'd like a few
I'm
wrinkles
taking
off.
38. I picked
I
38.
I already told him I'm like, hey, I'll do 30. And it's funny because every morning for the last year or two, I've been sitting in my meditations. I've been intuitively blessing my entire body with light and lining myself up to my divine blueprint of who I truly am. So I'll be like, thank you for my mind that I'm aligned to my greater I am, or however I say it. You know, everyone's going to have their own way, but I go through every part of myself, to my cells, to my fascia, to my bones, to the skin. And lately I've been noticing my teeth have more light on them when I'm doing it. And I'm lining myself up to my divine birthright with my teeth. Well, my teeth have been slowly straightening. And I know that sounds funny, but I can fit into my retainers that I couldn't fit into because they had gone sideways. And I'm like, I thought, well, I'll try those on. And they fit, they don't fit like perfectly, but they fit. Where before they'd bounce off because they were so crooked. So I don't know. Every time I see something change in myself, I'm like, this is real. And I'm going to keep going because why not? Like, why not? Like, why not? I want to be 30.
Well, no wonder you're
I
so
stand to be,
beautiful inside and out, Kristen.
well, right back at you.
So I would
Yeah,
imagine that people who are watching would love to know how to connect with you. So tell everybody where they can find you, how they can work with you. Because you're doing
sure.
something
Well,
new.
what?
Because you're doing something new.
I am doing something new. So I'm actually okay. You can find me at wellbalancefarm.com is my website, which anyone out there who's a really great web designer, I need someone. I'm going to work on revamping my website, but wellbalancefarm.com is my website. The Well Balanced Soul, Kristen Hustead, is my YouTube channel, which I just geared up about 3 weeks ago. And I am giving all this information. I'm doing all of this prophetic channeled messages and I'm going through them and we're walking through and we're learning together. And it's been profound for me. And it has all this information of how to get through. I'm going into only group settings as I move forward into 2026. So I'm going to do group healings online because what I've been shown last summer and the last couple of years, I've been doing group stuff and it is profound. The healing still comes through and it's so cool. So I'm going to do online healings. And also, I'm going to do a healing at the farm in the end of uh, January. I'm also doing intuitive mastery classes and Reiki classes, both online and at the farm. And so I'm just going to take this next 2 weeks and try to get myself organized because I'm a one-man show right now. I'm just doing my best, but that's where I'm going. I'm going to group healings. And so wellbalancefarm.com and
Okay.
the Well Balanced Soul, Kristen Hustead.
Well, I will put everything in the show notes so you can connect with Kristen. She's also super active in the comments. So if you leave her a comment, she will definitely respond. So, Kristen, I love you so much. I'm just so grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful for the wisdom that you are connecting to help wake up the collective because that has been what this channel's been about for a long time. So, Kristen, thank you so much for what you are doing to help wake up the collective. It is so needed right now.
Thank you, Laurie, and thank you because you just have knocked it out of the ballpark. And I just know how hard you've worked and
Thank
what a
you.
passion. It's a heart passion for you, for sure.
It
And
is.
yeah, it's just been fabulous to watch you. So thank you.
Thank you. And of course, this show
Love
is
you.
absolutely nothing without all of you who tune in
Yes.
to watch, to comment, and to share these wonderful videos with other people who need to hear them. So thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.
This channel's for seekers, for hearts who remember there's something more. Subscribe to join the awakening.